What's up, guys, and welcome to today's episode where we're headed back to Shreveport-Bossier City for the Kayak Bass Fishing National Championship, Trail Series Championship, and Challenge Series Championship. And to do so, we decided to re-air the event from the last time we were in Shreveport-Bossier City from 2019. Guys, I hope you enjoy this episode. I hope it gets you fired up, and be sure to follow along on socials next week as we bring you the action from the Kayak Bass Fishing Championship Series. Fish on. That's a toad, brother. Golly. Hey guys, welcome to Shreveport-Bossier City, Louisiana, and the 2019 Kayak Bass Fishing National Championship. Over the past 10 years, kayak fishing has exploded in popularity around the world. From saltwater to freshwater, people have learned that kayaks aren't just affordable and easy to transport, but they offer major tactical advantages. As more and more anglers have chosen kayaks, kayak bass fishing events have popped up around the country. 2016 brought the first ever Kayak Bass Fishing National Championship, where 240 anglers duked it out for the largest payout purse in the history of kayak fishing. Every year since, the event has grown in numbers and prestige, with 2018 seeing more than 750 anglers competing for a historic $100,000 first place payout. This year, the most anticipated kayak fishing event of the year has moved to Shreveport-Bossier City, Louisiana, where over 460 anglers are competing for big money, but more importantly, for bragging rights as the next Kayak Bass Fishing National Champion. Hey guys, Chad Hoover, Kayak Bass Fishing, and welcome to the 2019 Kayak Bass Fishing National Championship from Shreveport, Louisiana. I'm joined again by my good buddy Gene, the Fluke Master Jensen. I'm going to turn it over to Gene and let him tell you a little bit about what we got going on here.
Here in Shreveport-Bossier City, we have over 460 anglers vying for up to $80,000 in this tournament on one of the best fisheries in the country.
All right, so what Gene's saying is up to $80,000. This year, the guaranteed payout is $50,000, but we have almost $46,000 in guaranteed bonus bucks payouts, but one angler can probably only take home about $34,000, so that means they have a shot at $84,000 in that first place position. But we're also doing a big bass this year, which means every hour on the hour, the angler who catches the biggest fish takes home a bonus. And then the overall biggest bass caught for the event is going to take that total up to $5,000. So we've got like a tournament within a tournament, and then we cut to the top 100 in this 3-day national championship, and those 100 go on into day 3 to fish for the title of the 2019 Kayak Bass Fishing National Champion. So Gene, tell these folks a little bit about what's going on right now. Where is the fishery at? What kind of conditions is it in? What's the weather like?
So if you had to choose the optimum conditions to catch trophy bass, we're sitting in the middle of them. We're right in the middle of the spawn. We got fish that are pre-spawning. We got fish that are post-spawning. It's like a perfect storm right now, so it's gonna be awesome.
So we're fishing the Red River, we're fishing Caddo Lake, we're fishing Cross Lake, Black Cypress Bayou, and Lake Bistineau. And man, I'm telling you, this time of year, with this weather, with these anglers, is gonna put up some of the biggest fish that we've ever had in a kayak bass fishing event. So I'm gonna turn it over to Scott Butcher and let Scott explain to you how a catch photo release tournament works.
All right guys, one of my favorite things about kayak bass fishing and what they've absolutely done right is conservation of the fisheries. The way we do that is with catch photo release. It's what we call CPR in the sport. And the big boat fishing world, what they go by is poundage. What we go by in the kayak industry is inches. The way we get those inches is using a catch board. What this is a measuring device that allows us to get an accurate description of the fish. You also get an identifier. That identifier is what lets us know that you're fishing that tournament today. What we do is you lay your fish on your board, you make sure that your identifier is somewhere in the photo where it can be seen. You'll use your cell phone to snap a photo of the fish, making sure that you're getting both tail and head, either using the camera on your phone or even uploading directly to the Tourney X app. So I tell you what, we'll kick it to the judges and let Joe tell you exactly what he's looking for to accurately identify the size of your fish.
Thanks, Scott. Off-site, we have KBF members who are certified as judges who are going to be looking at this fish. They'll blow it up, make sure that everything looks right, the mouth is closed, the nose up against the bump board, make sure the fish hasn't been caught earlier by the same angler. But if it checks out, they'll accept the fish, and that score then is added to the leaderboard.
All right, guys, so that's how a catch photo release tournament works. But before we head out on the water, I got to thank this guy right here. This is John Hipsher from Yak Attack. This event would not be possible. In fact, the Kayak Bass Fishing Series wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for the folks at Yak Attack. Not only does Yak Attack continue to drive the innovation in the sport, continue to provide those rigging solutions. But Yak Attack also produces the trophies that give the anglers the recognition. John, talk to us about Yak Attack's involvement in KBF.
We're making kayak fishing products, designed and made by kayak anglers. And that's a huge part of it, is to be able to give these guys a solution to make their time on the water easier, more efficient, more effective. And as this sport grows and as kayak bass fishing and KBF grows, these guys are gonna need better gear, smarter gear, and that's what we're here for.
Well, John, I appreciate the support. 461 anglers are about to duke it out for over $50,000, and somebody's gonna go home and hoist that trophy over the top of their head. The Kayak Bass Fishing National Championship is presented by Torqeedo, makers of the 403 Ultralight kayak motor. Yak Attack, make it yours. Louisiana, feed your soul. And tune in for all things kayak fishing by heading over to kayakbassfishing.com. Hey guys, welcome to day one of the 2019 Kayak Bass Fishing National Championship here from beautiful Shreveport-Bossier City. We got guys over my right shoulder from Texas, from West Virginia, and Florida. So guys, which one of y'all's taking home the title of national champion? All right, so these guys are not only fishing for $80,000, but they're fishing for the prestige of being the 2019 Kayak Bass Fishing National Champion.
I'm a little nervous.
We chose to bring the Kayak Bass Fishing National Championship to Shreveport-Bossier City, Louisiana, because this area has so much backwater. If you want to crown a kayak bass fishing national champion, why not take them to the place that stacks up perfectly for our style of fishing? In 2019, not only are we crowning a champion in the state of Louisiana, but we partnered with Louisiana Travel to bring on an event called the No Man's Land Free-for-All. That event runs from February 15th to October 31st, celebrating the heritage of becoming Louisiana. But what's perfect is kayaks also are able to get into the places that others can't and catch fish in no man's land.
All right, so we are about 4.5 miles from the boat ramp. I stopped to look at the NRS leaderboard, and currently the national champion from 2 years ago, Mr. Matt Ball, is in the lead with 65 inches, right at an hour into the tournament, and he's already got one over 20 inches in the boat. Oh my goodness, this is going to be a barn burner.
Well, boy, there's a lot to throw at.
All right, so we just ran into Dwayne Taft. He's taking advantage of having that Torqeedo, being able to move around from place to place and covering a lot of water.
And because I have a Torqeedo, I'm just gonna go catch up to him.
Anytime you're the defending champion of anything, it comes with a lot of pressure. But Dwayne Taft had some added pressure because Dwayne Taft was not only defending the national championship, but he was also doing it in his home waters.
I'm just gonna start covering as much water as I can. Working these grass lines, and there's some old dead lily pads, stuff like that. I'm gonna start running a swim bait through there and see if I can't get something working, get something going.
So one question that comes up on a pretty regular basis is there a home field advantage for anglers that live and fish in that area more often than anglers that don't? But I'm gonna tell you, I don't personally think that anglers that live in and around a lake necessarily have that big of an advantage. One of the things that happens is they have go-to places. And sometimes if you take a look at a fishery and you dissect it with a fresh set of eyes, you don't get your judgment as clouded as you would should you have a lot of preconceived notions about where the fish are gonna be.
How you doing? I'm Vincent. Just caught my 4th fish in the national championship. Being from Louisiana, just trying to represent the home state. These alligators like these foreigners, so don't get too close to them.
Just over my right shoulder is last year's AOY Angler of the Year, Cody Milton. He's also this year's the 10 champion. He's fishing hard. He's way back up in a spot that took us a long time to get here. And Cody just missed a big fish. We've got a bunch of big airboats that are out spraying these grass mats. Well, these grass mats are where you guys have been finding fish for the last week, right?
Yep, I probably marked 7 on that far bank over there, and only one of them was still there. So I'm kind of wondering if they spooked them off.
There's no way you could have prepared or planned to know that those guys were going to be out here spraying this week. You got to adapt, right? You got to overcome and keep pushing forward.
That's true.
On to the next cast.
Yep.
It's going to be interesting.
All right, so a quick look at the NRS leaderboard. Tony Yang from Toccoa, Georgia. He's currently in the lead with 94¼ inches, not even halfway through the day. We got Mr. Matt Ball. He is in third with 91¼ inches. And Dwayne Beatty, he just caught a 24-inch bass. Looking at the picture, it is just a giant. Wow.
All right, guys, Cody Milton, he just hooked into a pretty good fish right here in front of us. What did that fish end up measuring?
16½.
Let's see that fish there. So not a bad little, good coloration. Got a couple scars along top of her head there and on her back.
I think there could be a bed there.
We're gonna let Cody get out of here. There's still a ton of time in today and a ton of time in this tournament.
One of the guys that's been consistently catching fish and upgrading throughout the day is Mike Elsey from Indiana. I'm not sure if Mike has got what it takes to overcome some of the top sticks that are above him on the leaderboard, but if there's somebody that's making a charge, it's definitely Mike Elsey.
Come on, babe. Come on. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Come on. Yeah. Oh, holy crap. Look at that. Ah, yeah. 20.75.
So yeah, that's a 6-pounder. No joke. No question. That's a 6.
One of the things that'll be intimidating for a lot of anglers in this part of Louisiana is the amount of trees. And something that you learn that works really well is finding those isolated trees where the trunk of that tree is getting more sun is the one that's going to absorb the most heat. And that's going to be the one that those fish pull up to. But the ones that look really good, the ones that are bassy, are the ones that are in clusters, have a lot of shade. And I think that shade is going to cause a lot of people a lot of problems.
So I got to looking around, and I want you to look at the base of this tree and notice the water line. Water line's up here. And there hasn't been a lot of waves, there hasn't been a lot of action to push water up that trunk. It tells me that the water level is dropping. And as the water drops, it causes the fish to pull out to the outside of the cypress trees. Now, cypress trees have knees that are parts of their root system that stick up out of the ground underneath the water, and the bass will pull out to the outside edge of those knees, and that's where they'll hang out. The angler that figures that out is going to be the angler who wins today.
In some worlds, that would be a playground blown into the water. In our world, it's cover. Where'd you catch that fish? Caught it off that bouncy house right there by that big mansion. Oh, man.
So we found Christine Fisher from Nebraska. She's fishing up in a cut on the northwest side of the bank. Before we came up, she caught a 19-inch bass. She's caught several dinks since then. She's working every cypress tree, throwing a soft plastic bait on there, and then working it very slowly back to the boat. Are you finding all your fish tight to cover?
Yeah, you gotta, if you don't cast it on the tree and let it fall, you're not gonna catch them. That won't keep. Barely. 12 3/4, I'll take it. I always fish a lot better when I have a limit. I slow down and do things right, get methodical with it.
Let's go see how things are going with Chad this morning.
Brian Aliff is always a contender to be on the top of the leaderboard, consistently getting top 10 finishes across the country. Right now he's catching mid-pack fish, isn't at the top of the leaderboard, but he's going to figure something out, and I promise you he'll be in the conversation at the end. Where are you sitting at right now in inches, do you know?
I never look.
You want me to tell you where you're at? I mean, I can look. Well, listen, good luck. We're going to go try to find your brother in arms, Mr. Queen. I know he's out here somewhere. One of the words most often associated with the anglers that are in the conversation for top anglers is the word clutch. And that's that angler that catches the right fish at the right time to always stay in the conversation. And one of those anglers that always seems to find his way into the conversation is Jody Queen. Now, watching Jody on the water, you never see him look like he's too concerned, and he never looks like he's overdoing it. But he never stops. He fishes to the end, and more often than not, he catches that clutch fish when it matters most and gets that critical upgrade at the end of the day.
I almost caught a cat a while ago.
A catfish or an actual cat?
An actual cat. The wind caught my cast and put it up on somebody's boardwalk, and there was a cat in the bushes. It jumped out there and tried to grab my bait. I had to jerk it off real fast.
That would have been a bad idea.
for that cat. Make sure there ain't no cats around.
So Jody is still currently sitting in 35th place with 82 inches, but there's a lot of jockeying for position at the top of the leaderboard. Let's check out one of the other guys and see how they're doing.
Always be careful of the friends you keep.
I don't know if I trust you at all.
Bye, Scott.
I hate that game. Like I really don't like that game. So Gene takes off that way and he goes, Scott, and waves my power pole battery in the air behind me. I'm done joking. Bring it back. I'm done. I don't like that game. And I'm gonna sulk for a little while and just be mad that he took my toy and took it home.
All right, so let's do a quick NRS leaderboard update. Looks like Glenn Landstrom from Indiana has pulled into the lead. 99.5 inches is what he's got right now. But it's about time for the sandbaggers to start loading their fish. So we'll see what happens over the next 15 to 20 minutes. Should be awesome.
That's the end of day one for the Kayak Bass Fishing National Championship. We'll be right back with coverage of day two.
Bye.
All right, guys, it is day two of the Kayak Bass Fishing National Championship, and we are out on Caddo Lake. How many anglers have we got today?
23 anglers left this spot this morning, and some big names. So we should be able to find some good hookups and some good stories for you guys today.
That'll be fun. Let's get out there.
So today is day two of a 3-day event and the day of the cut. We cut the field from 461 to 100. Everybody wants to be in that top 100. You can't win it if you're not in it. There's a lot of different reasons anglers compete. Some it's for the notoriety. Some it's for the enrichment and personal growth. And then there's some anglers out there that just compete for the pure joy of competition. And one of those anglers is Josh Stewart. Josh Stewart is a rising star in the kayak bass fishing community and consistently finishing at the top of leaderboards.
So we found Josh Stewart in the middle of nowhere, where you expect him to be. And he's doing pretty good, fishing a dang little Cinco. Throwing a Cinco is like my least favorite way to fish.
But it always catches fish.
It does.
How much money's been won on a Cinco, you think?
Gah.
Seems like the bite has died. Uh-oh. Maybe I was wrong.
Fish on, fish on. That's what I'm talking about. That's a good one too.
All right, my phone takes photos by voice command when I say whiskey. So people look at me crazy when I'm going, whiskey. Whiskey. Whiskey? Yeah, that'll add to the cause.
So that moved you up a little bit?
Yeah. I think I called out one of my, I think a 14 I had.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good upgrade.
So 17 and 19, like a 16 and two 15s, I believe I have. But I'll get rid of those 15s.
So that fish that Josh just caught upgrades him to second place overall again. But let's head on over to Chad and see what he's up to.
One of my favorite things about the kayak fishing community is the personalities. And one of the coolest people is a guy named Derek Bostic. He's that guy that has always got an infectious energy, and whether he's catching fish or not catching fish, he's always got a smile on his face.
15 1/4, little guy. We're gonna try to find one kicker. That's all we need. We're gonna make it to the 100 today. There's no doubt about it. Just gotta stick to what you know and keep pushing.
Hey, we caught up with Bruce Deal from near Roanoke, Virginia. He's down here. First time fishing cypress trees and water like this. Is that right?
That's right. I feel like the bass are spawning, getting out of the wind behind these docks. So I've been having pretty good success going in behind the docks and fishing the cypress trees. I'd like to get in the top 20. A couple more good fish, I think I got a good shot.
It is really cool, a lot of the modifications these guys do to their kayaks, the add-ons and stuff like that. John Lester's boat right here has got basically a rack holding all of his rods out in front of him, which is a huge advantage when you're fishing like this. You get bit, you lose a fish, you grab another rod real quick, a follow-up bait, and throw in there, and you'll catch that fish 99% of the time.
I call my rod holder setup the battleship configuration. Take starboard, marine board, and then use mighty bolts to hold it in place. All Yak Attack gear is the best. It allows you to fish smarter. Here we go. Say bye.
All right, guys, John Ferrer here just dropped the hammer on a 21-inch largemouth. I had seen John mark a waypoint with his angler bullseye a little bit earlier after he missed a fish. It was quite an incredible catch. Hold up the big girl and let's see it. Let's show everybody what you did. Now that's a toad.
The Kayak Bass Fishing National Championship is presented by Torqeedo, makers of the 403 Ultralight Kayak Motor. Yak Attack, make it yours. Louisiana, feed your soul. And tune in for all things kayak fishing by heading over to kayakbassfishing.com. So sometimes an angler's demeanor masks their competitive desire. So one of the nicest guys in the kayak bass fishing community is the 2016 Kayak Bass Fishing National Champion, Matt Ball. Now, on the surface, you wouldn't think that this super competitive, burning desire was housed inside the nicest guy you've ever met. But when it comes to competition, I think he has a different mode that he switches into, and the guy's one of the most fierce competitors out there.
What would you be happy with coming away from this? You've won one national championship.
Honestly, I mean, it's not something that I expect to ever do, but it would be, I would love to have my name on that trophy twice. I'm not going to lie. This isn't the place that I feel like I had the chance to do it, so we'll see. But I'd never been to Kentucky Lake when I won it there, so. I had a limit fast here yesterday. I actually probably could have caught a lot more fish here. I just left. You don't want to hammer your spot if you're going to go back to it. And I'll be honest with you, I found this spot on the first day I was here and then looked everywhere on this lake for another spot. It never really came about, so I'm kind of banking on this spot, which isn't a good thing. I'm fishing out of the Jackson Big Rig FD, the pedal system. It is just an absolute incredible tournament fishing platform. I can stand, I can cast, I can sight fish. It's just super stable. I've been looking for a boat for these major tournaments that can handle all the gear that I want to pack around, and this boat does that.
This is the stuff I'm from right here. I love it. So we made our way through the cypress trees and cypress knees, snaked our way through the woods, and worked our way back to this little spawning pocket, and we found Adam Reiser from Nashville, Tennessee. Adam's a fellow Team Bonafide member and one of the best backwater anglers that I know. He's got this mud streak down the side of his kayak that just shows how much time he spends in the backwaters. We're gonna see if Adam can figure these fish out back here.
I came up here yesterday, paddled in here, like first cast, 19, second cast, 20, third cast, 15, and I left. I wasn't planning on managing fish, but that's a good problem to have.
So Adam, you're one of those guys that gets to fish a lot more than most people that I know. What exactly do you do for a living?
I have a very unique occupation currently. I happen to live in downtown Nashville, and anyone that's been on Broadway down there in the last few years has probably seen the ridiculousness that we refer to as Nash Vegas, and it's littered with all these party bikes, pedal taverns, these mobile bars where people pedal and get drunk, and I'm a driver on one of those. So much of my time on the weekends is spent facilitating and participating in bachelorette parties. And then midweek, I get to have my time off and get on the water and catch big bass.
Sounds like Adam's got the life.
Just the ones we want to cull, but I need a limit more than anything right now. I'll be fish number 2 for the day. Little buck. I still need one, man. I need a double digit.
All right, guys, we're here with Alex Fiocca. He had a pretty awesome approach, and I want you to explain about these trees kind of being left alone after being hit hard.
So in kayak bass fishing, especially the national championship, when you have 461 competitors, I believe, initially in the morning there's congestion in areas, and something that I kind of keyed up on is once the congestion wears out and people start moving on and fingering off to different areas, that those high pressured areas will actually pick back up, and have produced a few good fish for me over the past 2 days.
Right now you're sitting around 20th for the day, and so if you stay on the pattern you are now, then you're guaranteeing yourself a space in that top 100 leading into tomorrow and the big money.
We're crossing our fingers.
So one of the things that was different about the 2019 Kayak Bass Fishing National Championship is we went from a 2-day tournament to a 3-day tournament. And the way that it worked is the top 100 anglers made the cut and moved on to fish day 3. I think the cut is the way to go for future events. The anglers seem to have liked it. And I also think that there's a sense of pride that comes along with, after 461 anglers started on day 1, making that cut and having that orange decal on the front of your boat. All right, so the clock has ran out on day 2 of competition at the KBF National Championship. We'll be right back with more kayak bass fishing action.
All right, guys, day 3 of the KBF National Championship. It's make it or break it day. Let's see what happens.
It's gonna be a good day on the water. Let's get on the water.
Okay, let's go.
Let's go.
So our plans today are to film Joseph and Cody. Problem is, they're 10 miles that way, and we put it at a ramp right here. Because my navigator...
Oh no, we're not blame shifting here. This is not happening. Cut!
So every guy competing in this tournament had the tough job of finding fish to finish in the money.
Keep coming till it sounds expensive.
2 guys that had the easiest job at this event were Scott and Gene. All they had to do was find the angler who was going to find the fish, and they had a hard time doing that. Come on, guys. You got to at least go to the right boat ramp.
I guess this is what they mean by running and gunning. Except we're looking for anglers, not fish.
Never too late for breakfast.
One of the great things about the Kayak Bass Fishing National Championship is it attracts anglers from all walks of life. One angler that we're excited is here this year is Greg Blanchard. Greg is a content creator who shoots his own videos while he's fishing. It gives you that first-person stream of consciousness view of what's going on with the angler. So let's check in with Greg Blanchard and see how his day is going so far.
Every fish in this little spawning cove is on the back side of the trees. I'm not even making casts to other parts of them. The big ones are setting up on the back. So I'm being efficient with my casts. I had it the whole time. It's a good one. There she is. Oh my God. Thank you, sir. 2 more good ones and things could get interesting.
One really well-known angler that's back for a 2nd year of the Kayak Bass Fishing National Championship is last year's top 10 finisher, Drew Gregory from Jackson Kayak. I think the backwaters fishery and the riverine environment is going to stack up well for Drew's type of fishing. Drew is doing everything he can to be one of the guys that can call himself Kayak Bass Fishing National Champion.
Stay on. You're gonna give me a couple inches here, come on. Get in here.
So far, day 3 has been a completely different day. First and foremost, with the other bass tournaments going on in the area, there's been a lot of boat traffic. And the amount of boat traffic after 9 a.m. has got me thinking that the bite must be tough, especially for these guys in boats. But I checked the Tourney X NRS leaderboard, and there are tons of fish being caught by kayak anglers. So these guys must be getting into protected areas and getting into places that the bass boats can't, which plays into the hand of a kayak angler.
So we just caught up with Joseph Sanderson. I think he might be in the lead right now. He's taking full advantage of the ability of a kayak to be able to get into places a big boat can't. He's way up in this grass, he's throwing a frog, and he's getting bit about every 10 minutes. If this bite continues throughout the day, we might be crowning him the winner at the end of this.
It's been a little bit tougher this morning. Yesterday was incredible doing this. I was getting away from all the kayakers and the bass boats. It's been a grind this morning, but we're staying after it and we'll see what happens.
All right, guys, so we just snuck up on Jacob Wolf. Yesterday, he had a strong presentation, landing 5 pretty good fish. Today, he's doing a little finesse fishing. If you watch the way he works the rod tip, he's slowly bringing that weightless worm up and down off of the ground, keeping it in that strike zone for the maximum amount of time possible. It's real light, so he's having to put a lot of trust in the senses in his fingertips and in the rod tip to feel what that action's doing underneath the water. He's caught up in a patch of grass there. He's gonna bring that in, clean that off, and sling that hook right back out, I bet. Jacob's not wasting any time getting the hook back in the water. He knows you can't catch him if the hook's sitting on your end of your boat.
We're out with Glenn Landstrom. Glenn was the day 1 leader. After day 2, he was still in the lead. With Glenn is his brother, Cody, came by to watch his brother compete for the cash and the national championship prize.
I've been fishing painfully slow. This is how we fish South Florida out in the middle of the lake. That's how we figured this little pattern out, if it holds up. There he is. Hang on, baby, stay picked. It's small, but I'll take it. Yeah. Just a juvenile, but hey, that's 2. 3 more, brother.
Being in the lead after day 2, if he just limits out with 5 bass, that's going to go a long ways towards a national champion title.
So the number 1 burning question that I get is, what does it take to take home the title of Kayak Bass Fishing National Champion? What does it take to beat that many anglers? And I'm going to tell you what it takes. It takes mental toughness. It takes preparation. And it takes a commitment to continuously adjust. I think every angler in the top 50 probably had a shot at it at one time or other. And I think what happens is, where that angler that takes home that title is the one that over 3 days put together the best pattern and made the fewest mistakes.
There you go, brother. That looks like a good one. Oh. Now that sucks.
I hope that missing that fish is not my 15 minutes of fame, as they say, but it happens. There's a big old fish over there. I gotta go.
Matt balled 2 or 3 times. He's had a fish strike and miss his swim bait in this grassy pocket. So he backed off, let this area reset. Now he's casting back around, putting his lure right next to the cypress tree, seeing if he can't pick this back up and make him strike again. Let's see if he connects on him.
I said before this event started, it's going to come down to knots that didn't fail.
Oh, dang it.
It's going to come down to fish that were spooked that shouldn't have been. It's going to come down to fish that were lost boat side.
Big one.
It's going to come down to missed hook sets.
Oh.
And for every guy in the top 30 that missed a fish that could have cost you the championship, I'd love to say it probably wasn't, but the truth of the matter is, it very likely was.
Nice fish. Whoa.
Come on, baby.
Oh, yeah.
I missed that fish this morning. I've been hitting this bank back and forth all day, and I found that if I miss a fish, they're generally not hitting again. But if I come back half hour later, I can usually get them to hit again. So that worked out just like I hoped, but it wasn't as big as I'd hoped.
I have been extremely lucky not to lose a fish yet. Can you see where I hooked him? I mean, what the heck?
I wrote on my hand yesterday, don't fish scared. I think that is a great state of mind. You got to fish aggressive. Today, I wrote grind and have fun, because we're on day 3. Still had a chance at winning the biggest kayak fishing tournament of the year. That's fun just in and of itself. And then grind, I knew it was going to be a tough day, changing weather. There were 2 big powerboat tournaments out here, and so I thought that was another good thing to keep in mind, that even whenever it got tough, to keep your head in it and just fish as hard as you can. I think this pulls me up an inch, so we'll take it right now. It's been a little bit tough today, but get this guy back in the water.
So that fish will help you quite a bit.
Yeah, it will. I need 1 more, and I got a lot of time to do it, so I can relax and do my thing.
There's a thing that we call tournament posture. Everybody's got a demeanor and then everybody's got a tournament demeanor. Most people on tournament day are constantly looking. They're looking for every little clue, every little nervous water tick, every blow up. Basically, they're in a heightened sense of awareness. Their brain is in hyperdrive, their adrenaline's pumping. You know, there's a lot of guys out there that say, I just go fishing on tournament day and have fun. Then there's also a lot of guys that lie.
Oh my gosh. Part of frog fishing is missing fish. It's very frustrating at times. It gets in your head a little bit, but frog fishing is a go big or go home tactic. I can guarantee you one thing, even with missing fish, I had more fun than anyone else in this tournament.
Oh my God. Oh, stay on, stay on, stay on. Oh my God. Good.
So Joseph is throwing a frog right now. You'll notice he's working a little bit fast, popping it really fast, but not very far. He's trying to keep it as close as he can. Oh, he's got a fish on. He's got a big one on.
That's the one we need right there. We did it again. Yes.
This is the 10-pounder tree. Are you there? Knock, knock. Don't believe she's home. How is Mike doing in the tourney?
Mike who?
From Indiana, second place.
There he is. Oh yeah. Oh, stay up, baby. Come here, baby. Come on. Come here. Right there. Yeah.
There's that kid's smile back.
Mercy. Some days you just can't catch a break.
Ooh, freaking giant. Freaking giant.
There's one laying in here somewhere. I know he's in there because he broke me off early this morning. He probably still got a sore mouth and a bad memory. Oh, that's what I was looking for. Long and lean, that's the way we like them. That would put me back in the game right there. Game changer.
That was crazy. I didn't know he had me wrapped up underneath a log. After a minute, I thought he was gone, so I reeled all the way down to him and bumped him out. It was fun.
Oh, it's a freaking giant.
Well, folks, that is the end of competition for the 2019 Kayak Bass Fishing National Championship. We'll be right back to crown a champion. Anytime there's an emerging sport and there's a competitive playing field that's developing, that sport has to have a marquee event. And our goal at Kayak Bass Fishing was to develop that marquee event. I hate to use cliches, but really the Kayak Bass Fishing National Championship is the Super Bowl of kayak fishing. We're pretty proud of that fact, and we're also proud of the fact that we're getting anglers excited about competing, and more importantly, we're getting kids excited about fishing again, and we're getting folks that have maybe even given up on fishing a reason to get excited again and for that fire to burn inside to even get out there and try their hand at competition. At an event like the Kayak Bass Fishing National Championship, there's a lot of people shaking my hand and saying thanks. But I have to be honest with you, I'm not the reason KBF is successful. All we've done is created the platform for what the kayak anglers want, and that is a community and a brotherhood and a sisterhood and a family environment that we can all come and share the sport. There's no one person that can make this thing what it is. I think everybody together has kind of willed it into being, and KBF has just been proud to be in the position to help make that happen. So after 3 days of tough competition, there's a nervous anticipation hanging in the air, but the sense of fellowship is there. The folks are excited as we build up to crowning the 2019 Yak Attack Kayak Bass Fishing National Champion. We're gonna start this thing off by you guys all giving yourself a round of applause for coming down here and fishing hard and being unbelievable ambassadors for the sport. Did y'all have a good time? To kick off the 2019 Yak Attack Kayak Bass Fishing National Championship award ceremony this year, we're going to start by crowning the top team in the Top Team Challenge Cup. The winners of the 2019 Kayak Bass Fishing Top Team Challenge Cup is Team Kayak Jack Outfitters from Nebraska. Before we crown the 2019 Yak Attack Kayak Bass Fishing National Champion presented by Torquedo, let's take a look at the rest of the top 10. In 10th place, taking home $1,000, 259 inches, Dustin Murguia. In 9th place, $1,500, 260 inches, Mr. Dwayne Beatty. 8th place, $2,000, 260¼ inches, Joey Johnson. With 263¼ inches, taking home $3,000, Matt Ball. All right, in 6th place, taking home $3,000, 266¼ inches, Joshua Stewart. In 5th place, taking home $4,000, 266¾ inches, Mr. Cody Milton. In 4th place, taking home $5,000, 269½ inches, Joseph Sanderson. 3rd place, taking home $10,000, Greg Blanchard. All right, let's find out who the 2019 Kayak Bass Fishing National Champion is. We've got a bundle of checks up here for one of these guys, but it's all about the hardware. Your 2019 Kayak Bass Fishing National Champion, Mr. Mike Elsey. Not only is it impressive that Mike Elsey won the KBF National Championship against 460 of the top anglers in the country, but he did so by a historic 16-inch margin.
First of all, I want to thank KBF, Chad Hoover, KBF. I came from the bass boat world. This is my 2nd year in kayak bass fishing. And as of last year, y'all put the fun back into fishing for me.
So you're taking home $20,000 for 2nd place, but go ahead and reveal those other 2 checks you got snuck in behind there. Taking home $500 in bonus bucks from Bending Branches and another $2,500 from Jackson Kayak. You got anything else to say, man?
Thanks again to KBF, and you guys did a great job. And Mike, congrats. Congrats to you, man. Great job. I want to say congrats. Awesome.
Well, guys, that's going to do it for the 2019 Kayak Bass Fishing National Championship here from Shreveport-Bossier City, Louisiana. So, Gene, give us a parting shot, man. What do you think about next year, where the 2020 Kayak Bass Fishing National Championship is going to be on Guntersville in Guntersville, Alabama?
You know, I'm excited because Guntersville is an hour and a half from my house. The only problem is I'm not going to be co-hosting next year because I'm going to go qualify.
Yeah. All right, so that is yet to be seen because so far Gene hasn't fished any of our tournaments. But listen, man, you're more than welcome to get out there and try your hand. I wouldn't want to fish against most of these anglers. What we're going to do, guys, is we're going to send you out of here. We couldn't do this without our amazing sponsors, but more importantly, we couldn't do it without the support of the kayak bass fishing community and brotherhood. So let's take a look at the top 10 anglers in the 2019 Kayak Bass Fishing National Championship.